Jaanika, great to have you with me today to find out more about your business. Over to you, Time Assist. Tell us what it's all about.
Thank you very much, Andy. Great to be here. So Time Assist is a business systems consultancy business. Lot of business word in it. But essentially what we do is we support micro businesses and smaller SMEs by streamlining and systemizing their internal business systems, especially focusing on the CRMs, the task management system, and also have a clear folder system, aka where are all your contacts, what conversations you had with them, who does what and when, and how do you find the files without using the search button constantly. So this is in a nutshell. So we are essentially systems with a twist.
Great stuff. Thank you. Help us understand about what would make you stand out from other people doing what you do, if there is anybody. What makes you different?
So what makes Time Assist different is our focus and our target market, first of all. So we do work with, and we can help predominantly small businesses, micro businesses, the ones that are owner-led ones, but taking on their first employee or starting working with the team. But what makes us stand out is actually the twist. So we have devised essentially a twist system, which means that we target the data first. So understand what's the existing data within the business, how it's been used so far. And if it is in your phone, it's absolutely fine. We can work with that. Then work out the solution. So find exactly which apps to use, what is suitable for you, and also work out like the understanding the tech savviness as well, because if you do use sticks to make fire, then Excel spreadsheet is good enough to start with as well. So then we implement set systems, then we systemize them, making sure that they are set up accordingly to your business needs, and obviously making sure that they're all the custom fields are there, that it's all working in a way that it's supposed to for your industry as well. Where are we? And troubleshoot and train the team as well, because essentially we want to make sure that the systems are sustainable for you to use going forward as well. So that's why we are systems with a twist.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you. That's really clear. So where's this business going then?
Oh, going million miles. Going million miles. So we're in the next 5 years, we are looking to grow exponentially as well. And we're looking to venture out, not just nationwide, but also venture out into international markets as well, because businesses, the size, like the micro business environment is pretty much everywhere. Obviously, it has to have a certain types of businesses and industries we can support the better, but we're looking Americas.
Interesting. What's the time scale on that? You said 5 years. When does that start then?
Well, it's already starting. So it already has started. But in the next 5 years, that's the plan to get it all systems, so our internal systems in place for that as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Practice what you preach. That's what all it is.
Absolutely. Never in doubt. So the business has been going 10 years now. Quite a lot of evolutions during that time.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Quite a few learnings during that time, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So what's been the biggest learning in your 10 years?
So within the next 10 years, so I think, just to be clear, Time Assist itself, within this shape as it is now, started 2 years ago. So just in the midst of pandemic, actually, purely because of the need. But the business started 2 years ago, but what I do didn't start. So what I do started 10 years ago.
Right. Okay.
So that's the difference. So if you look at the company's house, it's not 10 years old. So in that sense, so just to clarify on that. But the main learnings, was that the second part of the question? Yeah, the main learnings. Oh, where to even start? I think the main learnings have been being critical in what information to take on board and verifying the sources. So where is the information actually coming from? Absolutely, be curious, and continuous learning and self-development, business development is absolute must, because there's always something you don't know. But be very clear where you take the information from, because I think one of the challenges that I have had over the years is I'm like this you know the cartoon Up, or the animation Up, and there's this dog.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me whisked away with all the balloons.
Exactly, but there's a dog, and there's this squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. This is me, honestly, like information all over the place. So it's okay. It's great to be curious, but is this actually, what's the intention behind this information? What are the motivations behind that person? What are the motivations or intentions behind that book, or a podcast, or a learning experience, or a workshop? So just to be critical on that. And secondly, do not downplay yourself. You are good at what you do, and stand your ground. That's it. And it's be courageous to stand your ground, and be open about, yes, there are things that I don't know, but I'm open to learn.
Yeah.
But I'm not here. I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't be actually, good at what I do. So
yeah,
I would say that.
Great learnings. Absolutely. And wholeheartedly agree with both of those things. What's the biggest challenge you've had then in running your business? I know you said you started during COVID, so throw that one away, because that's just too predictable, isn't it? Let's have another one.
The biggest challenge has been the focus. So and I know it sounds really daft, but what it is that I'm actually offering. And I think this is something that I've focused on the past 6 months, is the fact that I have a certain skill set doesn't mean that I have to do all of those things. So going to, what is my focus? What is my business development focus? Where do I see the business going? Why do I actually do what I do? And just sticking to that focus and refining that focus. And it is going back to basics, but I think that's the challenge that I find, and I see around other small businesses the same way. It's like, you go to an event, you talk about what you do, and it's actually going away, and it's like, what do they actually do? And it's understanding that. It's like, be clear on what's the focus. So I think that's been a challenge, which I cannot say that I have completely overcome, because I love learning, but it's where I see the benefits in overcoming that the most.
That comes up a lot. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
No.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. If you were and I ask this question with the benefit of the knowledge that you have now, not from a perspective of regret, but with the learnings that you've gained over the years. If you were to have your time again, what would you do differently?
With the knowledge I have now?
Yeah. If you had that knowledge then, what would you have done differently?
I think I would go back to what I said about knowing where the information is coming from. So being very clear and filtering out where the information is coming from. So when I do the learnings and all of that, it's like, where is it coming from? But also not, I think going back, I wouldn't do much differently, because let's face it, the fact that I'm where I'm now all came because of all the experience that I did.
That's right.
So therefore, if I do something differently, I would have a different me or different business, or it would be completely different. But I think what I would have liked to do differently is I would have liked to break away from the conveyor belt of expectations and conveyor belt of others people way of living. So this is how the life should go. This is what you're supposed to do. So I would question more. I'm a very much of a follower, and I'm fully aware of that I'm a follower. But I think that I need to, again, going back to who should I follow and why as well. I know I went very round currently at the moment.
There's a couple of points in there, isn't it? I mean, if I interpret that correctly, what you're talking about is just being authentic to yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and being proud of who you are. So rather than downplaying yourself, and being proud of who you are with all the positives and negatives, and being very open and leveraging on the weaknesses. So being self-aware on the weaknesses and leveraging on those. And that's it, because we're not perfect, although probably that's how my upbringing was. It's like everything is perfect, everything is amazing, so you hide everything other away.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like I'm very aware of my weaknesses, and therefore I action certain things in a certain way. But that's okay, because that's just, I am how I am, and it's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. So what would be the one piece of advice that you give to other business owners watching this?
One piece of advice, it's very hard to say one piece of advice.
That's
but
right.
It's more of dream, plan, analyze, plan, and dream again. I think that would kind of summarize it. It's what's the end goal? What is it that you be very clear on what it is that you actually want? Where do you see yourself? And not like, I'm not talking about your deathbed, or like when you have imagine your funeral, what do other people say about that? No, yeah. Like what do you actually want to do with your life? Because we're not supposed, well, not supposed to go the same route as everyone else has gone. So what it is that what's the end goal? What matters the most to you? Okay, and then plan back. Okay, so how do I actually get there? And then obviously things change, plan change. So adjust that plan, evaluate that plan, but have that goal in front of you. What actually matters to you? And it's not the money, is it? It's not the money.
No.
Money is just the vehicle for some people, but it's not like what matters to you. And having that very clear goal in front of no matter what the dream is, have that. And I'm a very strong believer of visualization, the word that I cannot even pronounce. But see where you're heading, not just paddle along and that's it, and thinking that this is it. It's what's the end goal. And time matters, because the only thing, everything else changes, but the time just goes when we don't have indefinite time to do things that we want to do.
Absolutely right. Yeah, brilliant advice. Yeah, thank you.
There we go.
So If somebody wanted to find out more, micro business, okay, I need to find out more about this thing because these system things sound like they might make my life a bit easier. What are the next steps to find out more and get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if this resonates with you in terms of you are losing control over your everyday business activities just because I'm like, I don't even know where to start. There's I don't have, or it's too much in my head. I feel like my head is going to explode because I'm very much afraid to let down my customers for not delivering. I'm afraid to let down people who I'm not following up on time. All of that. If you feel that urge of that you're going to just explode, then let's have a chat, because there's a lot of things that actually you can do yourself within the business. Just not, there's just knowing where to start, and sometimes having somebody who's outside of business looking in, and sometimes it's just a case of just the fact that you've been doing things in a certain way all the time. It might not be relevant at this environment anymore. So let's have a chat. Let's have a one-to-one, because I'm happy to do it in terms of talk me through about your business systems at the moment. And I can do a mini audit, essentially, seeing if there's any pointers, any things that you can action right away. You can talk that through. Just drop me an email. That's it. And I'm sure, Andy, you will pop the details anyway.
All the details will be sitting there.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. Great. Fantastic. Thank you for that. Jaanika, great to hear your story. Thank you for coming on today and sharing your insights. And I wish you every success with your business going forward.
Brilliant, Andy. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.